You want anybody else comment?
We can start.
Okay. You good, TD? You got it set up? Okay. Obviously, just really exciting to get a win, to show that kind of fight in a game where we had to claw our way back into it. It was everything that we needed to see from our football team. We've been waiting to see for a couple of weeks now, the ability to make the plays when it mattered, to help us win the game. And those guys fought like crazy tonight. It was superb effort all the way around. Awesome to see. I think just the resilience of the team, the fight that they show when the way things have gone for us early on this year, to come in and fight the way they fought. And even when it didn't look good in the first half, we kept battling. And that's all that we ask of those guys. And they did a great job. I think individually, some individual efforts. Jeff Simmons continues to play at what I think is, potentially a defensive player of the year level. I mean, he's been phenomenal in every game he's played. I thought L'Jarius' Sneed effort on that short yardage ball that got – it was because he was there chasing it down. That's incredible effort to make a play. And, sometimes you got to have things go your way a little bit, and that was great to see have happen. I think Cam made big plays when we needed him to. And both tight ends, Gunner and Chig and Calvin, when we needed the plays to be made, they made them. And I think that's the critical part. It's what we've been searching for the first month of the season is guys making plays when they need to make the play. So really proud of the team, really proud of the fight. And it's good to get a win. And now it's just one. We're going to try to keep rolling and keep stacking, but proud of what we showed today.
How big a moment was that? Trouble dialing in for a good share of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously when you guys took over, he found it.
Yeah.
What was the difference?
I think he just had some struggles early, and fought his way through it, which I think is what you have to do as a quarterback in this league. Is not every quarter is going to go your way, and every half's going to go your way, and he just got reminded at halftime, just put your eyes where they're supposed to be and make the throws, and that's what he did in the second half, and that was he worked his way out of a particularly slow start of the game and made the plays when we needed it.
How important moment was that for Calvin in particular?
Huge for Calvin, right? Everything that we've been hoping to see from him, making those plays in the critical moments when we need them to be made, and to see him make that catch and put us in really close range for the field goal to win the game was a huge play. You can't undersell how big of a play that was. It was a high degree of difficulty on the catch, and it was great to see.
Not only the fumble on the goal line, but the interception that turned into a touchdown. How much did that help open the door for you guys to give you momentum?
Yeah, it was everything in the game. Those two plays, sometimes things just got to go your way sometimes, and we feel like haven't had a lot of that so far this year. Haven't had a lot of bounces that have come in our favor, and sometimes you need that. And it was really though. I think the fumble out of the end zone was just that. I think the highlight is Sneed's effort to go chase it down and be in the guy's body frame as he's crossing the goal line was awesome to see. And then sometimes when a guy makes a pick and fumbles the ball back to you, great, we'll take it.
What do you say to your defense after that? Jahai Ward gets the sack, and that starts that whole series to get you guys the ball back. How long is Spike struggling off?
Yeah, I think that's the thing I love about the team, man. These guys, they play really hard for each other, and they knew that wasn't going to be perfect, and they knew that they had to play really good football for us to win the game. And they felt that we were struggling, and they didn't blink. They just played the next play and kept going, and they picked each other up, and they kept moving on the sideline. And that stuff is good to see, man. That's the mark of a team that's got the right makeup. And I've said that all along. We just haven't had much to show for it. But knowing the kind of game we were in, the struggles we had offensively, particularly in the first half, and even defensively we struggled in the first quarter for sure. But they just kept fighting, and they just kept playing the next play and finding a way to get it done. And we just sort of kept chipping away at it at every turn we had. And the guys made plays when we needed them to. And I don't think we allowed a score in the second half. So really a great effort in the second half defensively to calm it down.
How much do you hope this is a springboard maybe for more, and maybe guys can get some confidence from this and can lead?
Oh, I'm incredibly hopeful. That's what we've been searching for. To prove to ourselves that we're capable of winning a fourth quarter football game, which we've been in every one of these games in the fourth quarter. Every single one of them as the clock turns into the fourth, we've been in striking distance, and to show our ability to go close a game out. It is a tremendous step for us, for a young team, bunch of young players making plays. Chim DK on a huge return, Gunner, Cam, these guys all made plays for us. And I think when you get these moments where you have a chance to show your mettle in a tight game at the end, it does wonders for your confidence.
We know you guys practice that 2-minute situation over and over again. In this case, how much of that was team operating on instinct, and how much of that was kind of as you guys brought up the situation?
It was really well done. I think both schematically in the play selection and Cam's execution of it were spot on. That's what you need in those moments. You have to be – everything's got to work together. The scheme's got to be right. The answers have to be right, and you got to make the throws and catches. And we did that and did it enough to win the game.
Things worked out well, obviously. Were your analytics telling you 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, punt?
Yeah, in that particular set of circumstances with where the time was on the clock, handing the ball back to them if you don't get it in field goal range is the end of the game. It kicks the game out of reach. So that's what we had talked about. If it was 4th and less than 1, we would probably go. Anything later than that, we were going to punt it because our defense was playing so well. We felt like we could flip the field back and take advantage. Didn't want to just hand them 3 points in their field position.
Brian, you were on the verge of an 11-game win streak would have been the worst in Titans history. How much of a relief is it for you?
A losing streak.
Losing streak, yeah.
Thank you. I don't think about those things. We just same thing we preach to the team. Our goal this entire week, and it's cliche and coach speak and all that, but it's how you have to work when you're in these situations. Is you're just trying to go 1-0. That's all we're worried about. And you go 1-0 each week, and you keep trying to fight, keep trying to find your way into it. You don't worry about all that stuff. Half these guys weren't even here last year, so it doesn't count on them. And you just try to focus on. You just narrow your focus, and you don't listen to the outside stuff. You don't worry about what's happened before. Previously, you just push forward. Our guys do a great job of they just keep swinging. And we're going to, certainly isn't the end of the season by any stretch. We got a lot of football left to play, and we're going to keep doing that.
How much of a relief for you and the staff, the coaching staff, because you guys work here last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's for us just to be able to see our team come through and play that way and play with that kind of resilience and that kind of effort and make the plays needed to win the game is huge for us. It's just like every loss. It's still one game. It's still one game, and we got a lot of games left to play. But very, very proud of our staff. Very, very proud of the way that they've responded in the face of some adversity over the course of the early part of the season, and excited for what's to come. So we just keep trying to stack and keep moving forward. And again, one win is one win, one loss is one loss, and we try to go out and win next week. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
guy who, of course, like I said, I pay attention, and a guy who's been working his tail off from injuries to getting back into that field of football, Snead, man, like that play changed the football game. And with him making that play, running down maybe 60 some yards, I think like that's the type of play that shows what we talk about as a team, our culture and our foundation, what we build this team on. And that right there, like I said, it changed the game. And, that's a good team win. And like I said, we deserve that. And like that play in the end zone with Lockett, like things like that, it just fell in our hands. And, you wish for plays like that. And it just so happened to happen for us. And like I said, today, that was a good win. It feels good to actually win a football game.
You've been talking for a long time, as we've talked to you after these last 10 games, about how redundant it feels, and it's kind of the Groundhog Day thing too. What kind of relief is it to be talking about it?
It's a relief. Like I say, we talk about just learning, finding a way to finish game, finding a way to make a play. And I think that's what we talk about. We've been talking about it. We're talking about it just, fight to the end. And we showed that today. Shout out to, even the special team plays, like things like that that change games. And to be able to, get a turnover and take care of the ball in 2 minutes. We worked the hell out of 2 minutes Thursday. We worked 2 minutes in the game. We talk about being good in situational football. And I think that shows today. In 2 minutes, Camden went down, had a hell of a drive with Red on the sideline and setting it up for Joey. So, like I said, it feels good as hell to finally get a win.
We know you and Cam were very close. Do you go to him and say anything before that drive, or is it just?
I told him, right when they scored that last drive, and, I told him, I said, we're going to get you this ball back. We're going to get you this ball back, and you're going to put it in the end zone. All he said was, I got you. And we got him the ball, and he did what he's supposed to. They did what they did on the offensive side. And like I told him, that's why we drafted you number 1 overall pick. His calmness, his poise in that pocket like that, I don't know how many rookies quarterback could have that type of poise when the game, it come down to him. And he knew it. The ball was in his hand, and, he did a hell of a job of controlling that offense and getting us down to be able to kick that field goal at the end.
How do you look for defense? I guess you guys tried to stop and get the ball back. Did y'all same thing, or just knew maybe we got to hold them here?
Well, I don't know if y'all saw it, but even after the turnover we had, when our offense turned over the ball, we talked about it through the week. We have to be better with sudden change, and that's one thing we did a hell of a job at today, being able to go out there on the field. We knew our offense needed the ball back, and we huddled up right before we went on the field. We talked about it. We're going to get on the sideline. We're going to everybody take a deep breath, go out there, everybody do their job, and get the ball back to our offense. And like I said, that's just what we've been talking about pretty much this whole week. We've been talking about it because last week, of course, our offense turned over the ball, and we ended up going on defense and getting up a touchdown. So this whole week, like I said, we've been just talking about keeping composure and everyone just doing their job and go put the fire out. We did a hell of a job of that.
How much you feel like Cam grew up in the fourth quarter today? He struggled for 3 quarters and didn't really look good, but then he turned it on when it mattered.
I wasn't, I kind of was focused on my job. I don't know how much a struggle, I'm sure this is a team game. I don't know why he was struggling, but, the overall thing is, he went down and had a hell of a drive in the fourth quarter and got a score. So, it's always a lot to fix and always a lot of things that we could get better at, but the overall, message was we got to win, and he did a hell of a job in, getting the offense in position down there to kick that field goal.
How much you hoping that this game can kind of be a springboard to more, and maybe it'll give guys confidence that you can win games like this now?
Winning solve everything. When you could win a football game in the National Football in this league, that's build confidence. So I think us winning today showed guys that, we can win in this league. Even when we down 6-21 going into the fourth quarter, nobody stopped believing. We kept believing with each other, make sure we believe in each other, and everyone was going to do their job when it really mattered. I think that's what we talk about, that blind trust. And, our guy Primo was in there. We've been watching his documentary with the, them flying and whatnot, and, just that blind trust that everyone's going to do their job, especially in that fourth quarter. That's what we've been talking about. And like I said, man, it feels good as hell to finally get a win.
What was the feeling when you saw the kick go through the upright?
a relief. It was a relief, man. You know, we know how hard it is in this league. You know, with Joey, I'm sure he never want to miss a kick, but you know, that's one guy that I see working his tail off. You know, I've never seen a kicker work his tail off as Joey. You know, in the weight room to on the field, like Joey worked his ass off. So, you know, it came down to him, and I had faith in him. You know, I knew Joey was going to put that ball in the upright, and I told him, I said, it's going to come down to you, and you're going to put it in the upright. So, you know, the belief in him to go out there and make that kick, you know, like I said, it was a relief, and like I said, the mess was 1-0, and we finally got it on win.
We all know the heat that Brian Callahan and his staff they take. Obviously, this win, it doesn't erase everything else, but what do you think it does for this coaching staff getting this W the way you guys get?
I think that's also build confidence for them as well. I mean, like I said, win and take care of everything, and when you can have a staff who can come in and make adjustments and, you know, make sure they calling the right plays and putting guys in position to be able to make the plays. And, you know, I'm sure Callie probably has something to do with that 2-minute drive as well. You know, he's the head coach, and, you know, of course, we all know he was calling the plays. So I'm sure that was a team effort from top down. So, you know, hopefully that could help build the confidence from not just the player but the coaches as well.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
What's it feeling like? You guys get the ball back, chance to win late?
Good. I think our defense played well all day, especially in crunch time, getting us, the stops that we needed for us to eventually win the game. But, I mean, we were put in one of the best situations. We had a timeout. All needs a field goal. We came together as an offense. I think O-line had a good day. They pushed us to win that game.
How did you feel to finish it off and see the kick go through?
I felt good. A win, especially for my first one in a game like that, it's a big-time win. But I think the biggest thing is just we got to continue to build off of it. We got to continue to attack the week the right way and try to get a win next week.
For you personally to come back when it mattered, after a bit of a tough start, come back and play the way you did, how big is that for you personally?
It's really not that big to me, honestly. I played well previously in my career. I just got to be consistent at it. I think the second half I really saw the field better in terms of just getting the ball out, letting my guys make plays. And I think Chig and Gunner, the tight ends, they did that along with the receiving corps.
Was there something that made you see the field better, like an adjustment or anything like
There really was an adjustment from the first half to the second half in far of what they were giving me from the coverage-wise. It's really me of more just putting the ball in play. They give it to me now. If the corner is back, I need to put the ball in play, let them make a play.
I'm sorry about that. Coach said he or somebody told you at the half just to see it. Did they help you change your mindset at all at halftime with the advice?
It wasn't really changing my mindset. It was more of me actually doing it. And I've seen it the same way they see it for the past couple of games in terms of just letting my guys make plays. And I think this was actually the first time I did that and ended up paying off for it. So it's just the games you play, the more you get experience with it, the more you get to learn your guys, and that's why we were able to win this game.
Was that how, like, a lot of your best games in your life have gone, where you kind of built and finished at your best?
I would say so. I wish I would have started better, personally, but at the end of the day, it don't matter how you start, it's how you finish.
What's going through your mind?
What makes 2-minute situations and 4-minute situations so comfortable for you?
That's where I want to live at. If I could play that way the entirety of a season or a game, I would. But that's not real football. So, to be in a position like that, defense gets you a stop. That's what you want to be in. You want to take your guys down there, have Joey make the game-winning kick and celebrate.
Cam, what's going through your mind when you see that the ball's been intercepted, but then Tyler falls on the fumble for a touchdown?
Really what's going through my mind is like, damn, threw a pick, and it was supposed to be a C to Red. He was wide open. They ended up tipping it. So, and then you look back and lock on the ball. They talking about touchdown, so I said touchdown. And so it was just a feeling. That was only the second play I had like that in my career. But, I mean, it was good. I think it just shows the coaching staff, but they emphasize on playing hard, Lockett not giving up on the play, and then those guys making a play, Lockett get a touchdown.
How important was it for you, Ridley, to be able to connect as often as you did today for him to help set up that field goal?
It was real good. It was just good that we finally did it in the game. We did it all off season, but now we finally seen eye to eye in the game. He made a ton of explosive plays for us. I think just his demeanor never changed throughout the game, whether we were down. And even when we had a 2-minute drive, he just stayed right there. He was ready to play, ready to get the ball, and he was a big reason why we won today.
How much you hope this can be a springboard for more?
I hope it can be, a springboard for a lot of wins. But we just got to continue to get better. We got one step better today, and just really just keep the right mindset each and every week, try to win next week.
Did the feeling on the sideline change at all after Snead's rundown play? Did you guys feel like you kind of got a set release on line there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that just sparked it. Him not giving up. Even when they gave an explosive run on a key down like that, them boys, they never gave up. They were a reason why we were in this game the whole time, and they also were the reason we won the game today.
What does this win say for Brian Callahan? Obviously, the pressure and the ridicule that he's under after the fourth start.
I think it doesn't even say like nothing to what we change day to day, because at the end of the day it'll never be the coaches, it's always the players. At the end of the day, we always the ones who's on the field. They can't go complete the ball for me. They can't catch the ball for me. It's going to always come down to the players. And I just think our coaching staff, they emphasize that just every week that we have to play hard. We did that today. We just got to keep on going to battle not only for us as a team, but for the coaching staff as well.
Thanks, with Bo, I guess, second game out, and was there a Bo chant going on in the locker room? What was that chant going on when you guys were celebrating?
Well, I don't even know what the chant was going on, but he called a hell of a game. It would have been better stats-wise if I would have been more efficient, if we would have just been more efficient in the pass game. I think running the ball, offensive line moved them real well. They were great in the pass game today, even the running back. So I think the biggest thing is we got to be efficient every drive.
How many plays are you guys calling at a time on those 2-minute drills? Obviously, you can't just be talking to the coach the whole time. How much is plays called versus you just directing?
Really every play is called. It just comes down if I want to check it or not. And then I would say just us executing. He called plays that we repped 100 times through OTAs to training camp, and they worked for us. I wish I would have had Chim back on one of the plays. I missed him wide through the middle, ended up checking it down. But I just think that's just something that, we got to get better at.
You're always the same as us, and we know you're a level guy. But once you got in there, when you've got those 10 minutes at least before the doors open and stuff, did you celebrate in a different way? It's your first win. Obviously, this team's had a tough time. and the comeback was pretty dramatic. I mean, can you share with us a little bit behind the scenes of how excited you let yourself be over it?
Me and my man, Coach Nick, was right. He lost his voice today. He was so happy. But I think that was the biggest one, just seeing him. He stuck to it. He told us he was going to get a win, and he's going to be the most excited person in the locker room. He was. So I just think it just meant something to everybody for us to finally get a win, finally know what it feels like. But we all know we got a new team next week. We play against a very talented Raider team, and, we just got to try to go in their place and win.
What did you say to Joey, who was kind of right next to you in the locker room?
Who?
Joey?
Really good job. I mean, I'm not worried about what he did before that kick, whether he missed it or made it. I'm worried about what he's going to do in this kick, and he came through for us. He's one of the most confident people on our team, and I'm glad that, I got him on my team. I know if I get a chance to cross the 50, I got a chance to get points on the board with Joey.
Thanks a lot.